Well, hey everybody. Hope you're having a great day. This is Papa, and I wanted to read you another story, but things were going really well, and we're having good weather, and we were able to get up at the cabin, and it looks like it's getting ready to be used again, and so that's good. I hope you guys are having a great time. I miss you. We had a great time at the Blast. And I hope you enjoyed singing the Blast song. We only sing it, it seems like, when we're having a blast. But it's a fun song. And I enjoyed, especially the last night we were there, how loud everybody was singing. It just filled the room. It was wonderful. Well, I hope Lily and Levi and Parker and Gemma and Lucy and Isaac and Elise and Caleb and Laura and Janae, I hope you guys are all having a good time. Sometimes Davis and Jake and Sarah listen in on these. Sometimes they're pretty busy with some of the things that they're working on, but this is the story I chose to read today. It's a pretty big story. It's got a level 2, so I guess it's second grade book or something. So it's got a lot more words in it, but I think you'll enjoy it. I think it's a fun picture. And I hope you remember this Blast shirt. I'm wearing a family Blast shirt. Well, let's go ahead and get started. This is called Henry and Mudge and the Long Weekend. And it looks like its boy is named Henry and his dog is named Mudge. And it's sort of like fudge, only Mudge. Well, let's see what we got on this story. There it is. Henry and Mudge and the Long Weekend. So this will be a little bit longer story, so sort of snuggle in and get ready. Here we go. Uh-oh. They're looking out the window. There's Henry and Mudge, and it doesn't look really good out. It looks a little bit overcast, and let's see what it says. Henry and Henry's dog Mudge woke up one Saturday in February and looked outside. Yuck, said Henry. It was gray, it was cold, it was muddy, it was wet. Uh-oh, looks like sort of not a good day to be outside. Okay. Uh-oh, looks like Mudge starts to lean on Henry. Henry said there's no sun, there's no snow, it's just yucky. It's just wet and yucky. Mudge leaned against Henry and he drooled. Now that's when a dog is sort of dripping out of their mouth a little bit. What are we gonna do all weekend, said Henry. Mudge leaned a little harder. There's Mudge, and he's leaning. Sometimes big dogs can be pretty heavy, and if they lean on you, it can sort of push you over. Mudge leaned even harder. How will we have some fun, Henry said. Henry leaned a little harder. What a boring weekend, Henry said. Mudge let go and leaned all the way. Whoa, said Henry, and they fell to the ground. Look at Mudge right on top of Henry. Mudge is a pretty big dog. A nice dog, but a pretty big dog, and it looks like Henry is just flattened. Uh-oh, said Henry. How are we gonna get up? Uh-oh. Looks like they go and talk to their dad, and you can see Henry is sort of bored, and I think his dad's trying to cheer him up, but Henry's sort of like, what are we gonna do this whole long weekend with such bad weather? Henry and Mudge had a boring breakfast. They watched some boring cartoons, so they were watching the TV shows. And it's like nothing was fun. They listened to Henry's father tell some boring jokes. Boy, is this boring, said Henry. Look at Henry. I think he is like, it's going to be a long, boring weekend. Boy, is this boring, said Henry. "What are we gonna do?" he asked. Mudge knew just what to do. Let's see what... Mudge always knew what to do if there was nothing interesting to eat and nothing interesting to smell and nothing interesting to chew. He went to sleep. Look at him. And it looks like he's leaning on Henry again a little bit. Oh my. Mudge is pretty big. And when he gets bored, what does he do? He goes to sleep. "No, Mudge," said Henry, giving him a push. "Wake up." He's trying to wake up his good dog Mudge, but Mudge is bored too. And when Mudge is bored, he goes to sleep. Finally, Mudge sat up. There he is. He's starting to wake up. Look at his tongue is hanging out. Oh my. He wanted to stay awake. He tried to stay awake, but everything was so boring that he couldn't. His eyes kept closing. His head kept nodding. His mouth kept drooling. Oh, poor Mudge. He's trying to stay awake, and Henry's trying to keep him awake, but their weekend is so boring. "Exciting dog you have there," said Henry's father. So now he's talking to his dad. Doesn't Henry look bored? I think Henry's dad is trying to cheer him up and have him think of things to do. But it sure looks like Henry is bored. "He's bored," said Henry. "Mudge is bored. I'm bored. Boy, is this boring." Henry's father frowned. "February cranks?" Henry nodded. "Winter grumpies?" Henry nodded again. "Pre-spring meanies?" "Okay, Dad, okay," Henry said. "Boy, are you bored," said Henry's father. The three of them sat. Their eyes kept closing, their heads kept nodding, and one of their mouths kept drooling. Henry's mother saw them. "Goodness," she said, "this is going to be a long weekend." Then she had an idea, but look at how bored Henry's dad was. Look at Henry. Look at Mudge. They're all so bored they can hardly even think. Maybe you've been bored sometimes. Let's see what happens. Mom says she has an idea. Maybe we ought to hear what she's got to say. Maybe she can help save this long, dreary weekend. Oh my, there's Mom. And she's got a smile on her face. And everybody's listening. Well, Mudge, I don't know if he's listening or not, but it looks like Henry and Henry's dad are listening. "I have an idea," said Henry's mom. Henry opened his eyes. Henry's father sat up. But Mudge just kept on sleeping. He wasn't convinced yet. He didn't care much about ideas. Not until the ideas smelled like something. Henry's mom said, "Let's make a castle." "A castle?" said Henry and Henry's father. "We still have the box. The new refrigerator came in," Mom said. "And the box, the new stove came in." Henry was getting the idea. "And that paint Uncle Arthur gave me," said Henry. So now they're thinking they have some cardboard boxes. And when you have a refrigerator, that's a big cardboard box. I used to love playing with cardboard boxes when I was a kid. Maybe you've enjoyed playing with cardboard boxes. They're like magical. Well, let's see what happened. Let's do it. They headed for the basement. Mudge was still trying to sleep, but when he heard their voices in the basement, he woke up fast. So there's Mudge. He was sleeping on the couch. And all of a sudden he woke up and everybody's gone. His first thought was, "I gotta find everybody." So he jumped off the couch and he was heading. Mudge loved the basement. It had millions of new smells. It had lots of places to hide. And some of his old dog toys were down there. "Come on, Mudge," Henry yelled, but Mudge was already on his way. He was in rocket dog mode, and he was ripping to go down into the basement to be with him. He didn't want to be left behind. Uh-oh, they got down into the basement. What did they find? They found a refrigerator box and a stove box, and they're trying to think what to do. Look at those lids and flaps. I think Mudge is just thinking about all the smells down there. "It has to have turrets," Henry's father said, "and a drawbridge and a buttress and flags." Dad said, "Henry, it's just a refrigerator box." "Not for long," said Henry's dad. "So it's just a refrigerator box, but they're going to change it into something fun and magical." Henry ran up the stairs as fast as he could. He had a castle book that had pictures of castles. Mom ran up the stairs because she was looking for some pencils to help him design it. And then Henry's father ran up the stairs, and he was looking for a stapler. Well, with all that going on, Mudge decided he was going to run up the stairs just because he needed to be with them. So he got running up the stairs too. And he was hungry, so he thought maybe they're eating, so I'm coming for food. They all got upstairs, and they were like, "How did we all get up here so fast?" So when they got back to the basement, Henry opened up his castle book. "Let's make this one," he said. And there's Henry. He's got his book, and he's showing him a picture of the castle he'd like to make. And they've got scissors, and they've got staplers, and they've got pencils. "Let's make this one." And Henry's father took a look, and Henry's mother took a look, and they said, "Yep, let's do it. Let's see if we can make a beautiful castle out of a refrigerator box and a stove box." One of them drew, one of them cut, and one of them stapled. So they're all working together. Look at Henry. Does he look bored? No, he's not very bored. He's working with the stapler. And his mom is drawing, and his dad is cutting out with the scissors. And one of them went looking for an old boot he was used to chew. They all worked a long time until somebody said, "Is anyone hungry?" "Order a pizza," said Henry's father. "We can't stop now." They worked a while longer until the pizza came. And there's Mudge, and he found an old boot that he wanted to chew on. I think it used to be his old chew boot that was given to him. Been in the basement for a while. So there he is, and everybody else is working like crazy. They ordered some pizza, and they just kept working until the pizza came. Then they stopped and ate the pizza when they stared at the castle they were building. Look at it. And then they all started to have ideas of what it was going to look like. And you can see Mudge is just seeing some bones to chew. But Henry sees quite a castle with a horse. His dad and his mom all have ideas, but look at them. They're eating their pizza. Do you love pizza? We had pizza at the Blast. So they're having a great time. And look at the cuttings, the scissors, the pencil, all the little things, and the Scotch tape even, staples. They are building and just barely had time to stop for lunch. For the rest of the afternoon, they cut out fancy windows and fancy doors. They cut out turrets and buttresses and flags. And good old Mudge, he chewed on a boot like crazy. So they're all working like crazy, and Mudge is chewing on his boot. He's not bored anymore. But I don't think Henry's bored. Oh, look at that flag they're making. Oh, they're getting a flag made, and they're cutting things out, and they're making the turrets. Wow. When evening came and Henry finally had to crawl into bed, he could hardly wait to finish the castle. And he could hardly wait for more of this long weekend. Look at him, he's climbing into bed. Who's with him? Mudge. Boy, Mudge is a big dog. It must be fun to sleep with such a big dog. But look, Henry's looking down at his castle book, and he's seeing a picture of a castle, and he's trying to make their creation look like what's in the book. This is a fun story. Oh, here it comes. The next morning they all got up, and they were eating breakfast and having a good time, and there's Mudge. Looks like he's eating a few things that might come his way. Henry woke up, he looked outside, and it was wet and yucky. But he didn't care. He had a castle he had to finish, and he told Mudge, Henry, and Henry's father, ate some cold cereal and ran to the basement. So everybody didn't care about the weather. They had a castle to build. So they ate their cereal, and they got ready to run down to the basement and keep working on their castle. Henry's mother stayed in the kitchen to read the morning paper. She was always better at thinking up ideas. Besides, she said, you have to have somebody to surprise. So she stayed upstairs working on some of the things she needed to do. And guess what was happening downstairs? Henry's father and Henry and Mudge started painting and painting and painting all the stuff in the basement. We're going to have to see what it starts to look like. So all morning long, they were in there working and painting. While they worked, Mudge sniffed screwdrivers and paint cans and dirty rags and beach balls and Christmas decorations and even a stuffed turkey. All this stuff was down in the basement. And there's Mudge. Oh, he even tried to get a spider, but the spider got away. Look at all the smells and the stuff. There's a stuffed turkey. I guess it's a decoration you can put out during Thanksgiving. Oh my, look at all that they're doing. Henry and Henry's father were very quiet. They wanted to pay very good attention. They wanted to do a good job. Every now and then, Henry's mother would call out, "Is there life down there?" She was saying, "You've got to be doing something down there. What's going on?" Finally, close to lunchtime, Henry looked at his father, and his father looked at him. "Oh, wow," they both said. "Come on, Mom, come on down. Come on and take a look. Come downstairs." So Henry's mom, who'd been upstairs, she hadn't seen what they'd been doing. She came downstairs to be surprised. What do you think she's gonna find when she goes downstairs and sees what they've been doing? "Oh my, okay, they called." She went down the stairs, and there she saw the most beautiful castle and the most beautiful knights and the most beautiful king she had ever seen. Look at that. They've got flags, they've got the castle, they've got all their decorations. Whoa!
Hi, I love you.
Is that Grandma? She came down to see the castle. Isn't that fun? Just like Henry's mom. That was Grandma. She said hi to you. But look at what they did. And look at their own decorations. And they made Mudge the king. And everybody else is knights and warriors. They all spent a long time admiring the castle. They took turns sitting in it. They stuck their heads through the windows. They were playing and playing and playing. And they just had a great time in their homemade castle. Look how good they did. That just shows you what people can do when they're not bored. Oh my. They had a great time. Henry was so happy. He gave his parents a big hug. He gave Mudge a big hug. "What a great weekend," said Henry. The king gave him a big lick, and what a great king he was. Mudge is the king, and he was happy too. So that's the story of Henry and Mudge and the long, boring weekend. They found something they really enjoyed doing. I hope you enjoyed this book. It's for older kids, but I hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and it shows that you don't have to be bored. There's probably always something you can be doing. And these folks figured out something fun to do where Henry hardly even wanted to go to bed at night. He was so excited, and they hardly even wanted to eat the pizza. Even though they love pizza, they just wanted to keep working. Anyway, I love you guys. Hope you enjoyed the story. And remember, I love you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.